उनको कोई गाली इतनी कर नहीं और शाम को फिर आप कॉलेज पहुंचेंगे तब वो आप उसमें अपना सीधे कॉलेज में नहीं कर दीजिए
to ship bulky items that aren't in much of a rush. The main disadvantage of ocean transport is that it can be difficult to monitor the exact location of the goods in transit, which can be a deal breaker for some. Now, what are the advantages of ocean transportation? Lesser freight cost, higher capacity, no limit on size and weight, low level of issues related to the environment. And if it has advantage, definitely it will have some disadvantage also, which is low speed, requirement of seaworthy packing, and delivery is always liable to get affected by weather conditions. Next one is pipe transportation. Pipeline transportation is generally useful for transporting for a long distance crude oil, gas, and petroleum products. Pipelines can transport enormous amount of oil and natural gas than conventional shipment by rail, truck, or ships. Pipeline transportation is generally useful for transporting a long distance crude oil and petroleum product. Pipelines can transport enormous amount of oil and natural gas. They are most efficient for transferring these vast quantities of oil and natural gas than conventional shipment by truck ship. Advantages. Advantages of pipeline transportation are highly reliable, capable of transporting huge quantities, high frequency of receipt at the destination point. And as far as the disadvantage is concerned, it is prone to significant accidents, low speed, and limited to a certain category of products only. Land transportation, which includes road and rail. Railway transportation is arguably the most dependable method of transport. Unlike road and marine transport, rail is hardly affected by weather conditions. Transport trains will run in rain, fog, snow, and other conditions that would otherwise delay shipments carried by any other methods. As far as advantage of rail transportation is concerned, low freight cost compared to road and air transportation, comparatively larger carrying capacity, and its ability to transport all type of commodities. But as far as disadvantages are concerned, they are much more. Lower level of delivery reliability, requirement of strong packing, poor material handling, need of loading unloading platforms, need of last mile connectivity to the customer premises, and high and varying handling cost at rail yards. Road transportation, the most common mode of transportation in logistics is road. From walking to horses to wagons to bikes to cars to trucks, road transportation has been around longer than mode and is utilized maximum than any other mode in logistics. With the continued improvement of vehicles and road infrastructure, transportation by road is the most versatile of the different modes with the least geographical constraints. This attribute of load transport makes it the preferred mode for smaller loads over a shorter distance, and as such, road is the only mode that can perform door to door deliveries. Advantages of road transportation are high level of flexibility and reliability, negotiable freight costs, and flexible carrying capacity, ability to transport all types of commodities, higher access to remotest places, and door to door delivery service. As far as disadvantages are concerned, less speed, requirement of strong packing, varying material handling conditions, and high environment pollution. The next part is intermodal transportation. Intermodal transportation is the mode of transportation where two or more modes are used to transport goods from shipper to consignee. Matthews defines intermodal as the movement of cargo from origin to destination by several modes of transport, where each of these modes have a different transport carrier responsible, each with its own independent contract. Usage of special standardized containers is one of the special feature of intermodal transport. As containers have to be shifted from one mode to transport to the another. So these have to be made durable. This reduces the risk of damage during shipment. Suitability of intermodal transportation. When the load units of the good, which can be intermediate or finished, being shipped are less than 25 tons. Intermodal transportation is a good choice when long distance have to be covered. When the value of goods being transported is neither high value nor very low value, it means intermediate value goods are best suitable for this type of transportation. When goods have to be transported continuously and in similar quantities over a period of time, then this is the most suitable mode. Metros has given the following advantages of intermodal transportation. Lead time is reduced, inventory and freight cost is reduced, terms of negotiation are separate for each company, so advantage of lower rates can be availed. Environmentally friendly carriers can be chosen and pollution can be reduced. Each carrier is accountable for the service being provided by them. And flexibility is there and shipment can be stopped at any point if needed. Then comes multimodal transportation. As per the Multimodal Transportation of Goods Act 1993, the definition of multimodal transportation is transportation of goods from any place in India to any place outside India involving two or more modes of transport on the basis of a single multimodal transport contract. This is as cited in Directorate General of Shipping. What are the advantages of multimodal transport? One carrier is held responsible for any problem which arises, therefore, this is less risky. Time and cost incurred in coordination of shipment is less. This is the most efficient in terms of delivery time as tracking of shipment is easier. Disadvantage of multimodal transport are and it deters operation. Although intermodal and multimodal are similar, but in multimodal there is a higher level of unity among the carriers of goods as it works under single contract. Each party involved in the transportation of products is responsible for some aspect of intermodal transportation. This makes it difficult to identify the offender, for instance, in case of damage to any of the products. Now, we move to Unit 8, that is modes of international transportation. Global logistics system and its activities are different from that of domestic one. In global operations, the logistics manager needs to be very particular about response time, order completeness, and accuracy, and shipment documents and conditions. Global transportation is defined as exporting and importing products or services beyond the boundaries of the country. For this purpose, ocean and air freight move goods between the countries such as United States, Europe, South America, Asia, and Pacific region. However, ocean, rail, air, and motor carriage may all be used for cross-border ocean, rail, and other motor carriers may always be used for cross-border transportation of goods. Trans-border pipeline transportation is also used in a limited way. Moreover, motor, pipe, and railroad services are used to and from the seaport and airports. In the international shipment, response times are generally longer, primarily because of long distances, slower movement by sea freight, and more documentation. Ocean transportation. Due to globalization of the world market, seaways have a larger potential for foreign trade. Throughout the world, this mode has acquired a very high position due to its advantages, like being the cheapest, having a larger capacity and flexibility. However, its greatest drawback is its slow speed. The waterways transportation has been in existence since countries providing linkage between nations. Waterways include ocean, rivers, lakes, etc. Ocean way have the most availability among all other modes as water covers a lot of space on the earth. Global trade is most benefited by ocean transport as compared to others, as most of the international shipments are carried via this only. Around 90% of the total trade of the world is possible just because of this mode of transportation. High density, lower value products normally moved by ocean carriers. Water carriers haul large quantities of bulk commodities at relatively low prices. Dry bulk cargo includes coal, grain, iron ore, sugar, fertilizers, alumina, and bauxite. Liquid bulk cargoes include petroleum, chemicals, and fertilizers. Ports generally offer broad services to handle most type of the freight. Even after advent of alternate modes of transportation, ocean transportation still is a most viable form of transportation for carrying products like iron ore, coal, bulk crude oil, petroleum products, and chemical in huge capacity. Ocean transportation is in competition with railways and pipelines for transporting high quantity of raw materials like coal, iron ore, and crude petroleum products, respectively. Ocean transportation classifies the freight to be carried out in two types. First one is freight in tankers. This is specially used to carry high quantity liquids such as crude oil shipments, refined petroleum products, and liquefied gas shipments. Secondly, dry cargo transportation. This typically is used to carry dry bulk and other dry cargo such as coal, iron, bauxite, ores, and steel products, food grains, and other containerized shipments. What are the advantages of ocean transportation? It is suitable for all sizes of cargo and is efficient. As compared to air and road transport, ocean transportation has more capacity to carry every type of goods. The capacity of vessel is more as compared to road or air vehicles such as trucks, airplanes, etc. Secondly, it is less economical, that is expensive, that is more economical. This mode of transport is less expensive when cargo has to be shipped internationally as compared to air transport. Shipping cost turns out to be very competitive when long distances are to be covered. Thirdly, it is environment friendly. Ocean transport is good for business as well as environment as compared to other modes of transport. Gas emissions are very less if compared with any other mode of transport, and these are becoming less day by day due to the advancement in technology. Ideal or heavy bulky goods. Ocean transportation is most suitable when heavy goods are to be transported internationally, as there is no issue related to weight and size in case of ocean transportation as it is with air transportation. And it is safe mode of transport. When some specific kind of cargo is to be carried, then ocean transport is preferred as ships are well suited for this purpose. Several rules and regulations have been for the safety of cargo and crew in ocean transportation industry. Disadvantages of ocean transportation: slow speed, high packaging needs, no door-to-door service, less flexibility, and effect of weather conditions may be there. Now we move to air transportation. Air transportation serves as a fastest and vital link of international market to link to domestic markets. In the international trade logistics, the contribution of air transportation is increasing as it is supporting quick deliveries of goods in time for key international markets, thereby saving time. Air transport is considered as most suitable mode for high value and speedy shipments. As the world GDP is growing, higher value goods are demanded in large quantities, and this leads to increase in the air trade. Air cargo represents about 10% of the airline industry revenues. IATA says as 35% of the value of goods traded internationally is transported by air. Air cargo is a parameter of global economic health. Air transport is considered as an important factor in development and growth across the world as it helps in trade increase. Air transportation is the only alternative to ocean freight for international movement of goods. Airways move less than one tenth of 1% in terms of weight, yet it represents a much higher percentage of revenue as high value products are moved by air. What are the characteristics of air transportation? High speed enabled response to market requirements, fastest linkage between international markets, prompt delivery of freight in the designated times, supports time sensitive shipments for transportation, supports availability of high tech, high value, and time sensitive products across the globe. The era of globalization has rewritten the business equations, and global manufacturers of all types are venturing to ship their products by air to distant customers. This has led to the development of new air freight service, which is termed as express delivery services. The air express industry worldwide is both domestic and international. The key features of this industry are speed of service, door to door delivery, including completion of all cross border regulatory requirements, tracking system, proof of delivery, security, and reliability and access to global connectivity to their customers. What are the advantages of air transport? Air transport is considered as fastest mode of transport when it comes to international shipments. It is the most important mode of transport when supply chain requires speed delivery of cargoes. Reliable. Arrivals and departure are very reliable in this mode of transport, and delays are very less as compared to ship transport. Easy mode for high value perishable cargo. Air transport is very famous for shipment of high value and perishable goods easily. because of its speed, its wide range, no physical obstacles, insurance premiums are lower, less packaging cost comparatively, and less warehousing requirements. Now, what are the disadvantages of air transport? Impact on environmental conditions. Several environmental conditions such as snow, fog, rain have severe impact on air transport, which can lead to losses sometimes. It is expensive, high gas emissions are there, and prohibition of some type of cargo. Some common examples of prohibited items are flammables, gases, dangerous goods, etc. Now, comparing ocean and air transportation. Although both modes of transportation are very important in international logistics, but they can be differentiated on several bases. Following are few differences between ocean and air transportation. If we talk about the speed, it is the slowest mode of transport, and air is the fastest mode. If we talk about the in terms of cost, mode of transport is less, and air transport is expensive. Carrying capacity is very large in ocean transportation, and similarly, it is smaller in air transportation. Suitable Suitability of the mode. If we talk in terms of ocean transportation, it is suitable for heavy cargoes. But in air transportation, the weight is the constraint. And as far as emissions are concerned, CO2 carbon dioxide emissions are very less. And in air transportation, it is the highest. Land transportation, road transportation. The most used and prevalent mode of transportation in supply chain management is the road transportation. Most of the logistics operation of corporate enterprises largely depend on this mode of transport. It is mainly due to the moderate conditions in between two extremes of airways and seaways as far as speed and cost are concerned. The reliability and economy of this mode is gradually increasing due to continuous improvement in the quality of motor vehicle and the condition of roads. This transportation mode facilitates in the achievement of logistics objective like lower transit time, lower total logistics cost, and improved customer services. As road infrastructure and vehicles are continuously being improved, road transportation has become most popular mode of transport in logistics. Any size of shipment can be transported through road transport. Trucks are the main vehicles which are used for heavy shipment, whereas bikes are used for lighter shipments. What are the characteristics of road transportation? It has last mile connectivity. The growth of road transportation has a distinct advantage over all other modes of transportation. That is the last mile connectivity or accessibility. This means any location can be under service with delivery of goods or collection of commodities or wastes. Truckload and less than truckload, that is, they are abbreviated as TL and LTL. There are two forms of road transport, and these are TL and LTL. In TL, that is truckload, the truck does not have multiple stops, whereas in LTL, multiple stops are there. Next is flexibility. Flexibility is the most important characteristic in road transportation. Unlike the rail and water carriers, which always require fixed tracks or waterways, and there is no highway constraint to road carriers. Linkage to other transportation goods. Road transport is that mode of transport which acts as link to other modes of transport such as railways, ships, airways, etc. The journey of goods starts with the road transport and ends with the road transport only. What are the advantages and disadvantages of road transportation? As far as if we talk in terms of advantages, accessibility to remote areas is there, its flexibility, single customs duty process, cost effectiveness, less initial and maintenance cost, and it is complete door to door service. And if we talk in terms of disadvantages, it is costly for long distances and it is not suitable for heavy or bulky goods. It is more prone to accidents, low speed, and is affected by environmental conditions, snow, rain, fog. These are the constraints which come in the way of road transportation. Road infrastructure global scenario. In the global scenario, it is estimated that global road traffic activities will be doubled to nearly 43 trillion annual vehicle kilometers by 2050. This rapid growth for an increase in the global road infrastructure by about 60% above 2010 levels by 2050 and an increase of roughly 14 million paved lane kilometer by 2030 and an additional 11 million paved lane route by 2050. China and India account for nearly half of expected roadway additions. In contrast, some OECD countries such as Germany and Japan are expected to slightly reduce total paved road lane kilometer as national vehicles travel begins to decrease over time. Now we will become used talking about land transportation and rail transportation because rail transportation is a form of land transportation. Rail transport was invented at the starting of 19th century and has played a very important role in the world of logistics till now. It is very famous for transporting bulk cargo or heavy goods. Containerization has revolutionized the intermodal transport by linking rail transport to other modes of transport such as water, road. Railways had accounted for the largest percentage of freight cargo in most of the countries. The major advantage of railway is that it is efficient transport large quantity of goods over long distances. Given the high fixed cost and low variable cost of operation, the tariff of railways is low, which encourages large shipment over a longer distance. That is why bulk shipment of products like fertilizers, cements, food grains, petroleum products, etc., are normally done through railways from the production plant to the bulk or central warehouses. What are the advantages of rail transportation? It is economical for longer distances, green mode, suitable for bulky goods, less impact of changing weather and seasons, and containerization is there. If we talk in terms of disadvantages, it is expensive for short distances, low flexibility, slow speed, packaging needs, and less reach. Now, another form is pipeline transportation. Pipeline is a type of transportation which has been designed to transport specific, mainly liquids and gases type of goods such as refined petroleum products, crude oil, chemicals, gases, limestone, coal, etc. over long distance economically. In the initial stages, pipelines were used to feed other mode of transport such as water, road, rail, and they were basically operated as subsidiaries of oil companies. This was done to control the oil industry and not providing the pipeline access to new producers. India is relatively new in using pipeline transport as compared to other countries such as USSR, USA, Middle East, etc. Natural gas, crude oil, refined petroleum products, and other pipeline transportations are different types of pipeline transportations available globally. What are the characteristics of pipeline transportation? Pipelines are virtually unknown to the general public but represent a key component in international transportation system. Oil and oil products represent two-thirds of the ton miles transported by pipeline, and natural gas makes it up the other third. Pipeline transportation is comparable to that of all other freight carriers on a strict tonnage basis. Carrying capacity has been increased in a great way by increasing the diameter of the pipelines. ABB Group, Emerson Electronic Company, Alcatel Lucent, Schindler Electric, and FMC Technologies are some of the major companies which control the pipeline transportation market. Here we see this is a pipeline transportation picture which depicts how pipelines are used in sending the products. If we talk in terms of refinery and chemical plant, through pipeline it is the crude oil comes from wells to on land to the refinery. It is processed. There are three different ways. No, crude oil comes from countries. It can be from the offshore, from the land, comes to the refinery and chemical plant, and from that chemical plant, it moves by the help of pipeline as well as by the help of road transport by different destinations. What are the advantages of pipeline transportation? Uninterrupted service, low operating cost, no risk of goods loss or damage, unlimited route, no additional space is required, and it is totally environmental friendly. But the disadvantage is high fixed cost, and it is only suitable for few products, that is, oils and gases. Global pipeline services have been set up to provide good quality services at sensible cost to fulfill growing needs of oil and gas field development in the Gulf and Middle East regions. Some of the pipelines which are being laid and are being used are Iraq Turkey oil pipeline. Second one is Southern Valley natural gas pipeline project. The total investment was about $4 billion, and the Southern pipeline will span over 1,200 kilometers across several regions. Third one is Peruvian Ecuador crude oil pipeline. Fourth one is Phillips 66. Phillips 66 is an integrated energy manufacturing and logistics company. It has received approval from its board of directors to move forward with both its Sweeney fractionator 1 and Freeport liquefied petroleum gas export terminal. And the fourth one is Baltic Gas Interconnector. Baltic Gas Interconnector was a project natural gas submarine pipeline between Germany, Denmark, and Sweden. Transport mode and carrier selection. Transport mode and carrier selection is very important decision for a shipper, but there is no hard and fast rule of the selection. The objectives and the resources of the shipper are compared with the benefits of the modes of transport available. There are various factors which are considered before selecting a mode of transport. In international supply chain management, that is ISCM, multimodal transport is the most suitable form of transport, as this is the only way to provide proper service to the ultimate consumers, as this is the final goal of SC. Following criteria of selection of mode of transport is followed. First one is speed. Speed is one of the important factor of choosing a transport mode. A shipper who wants his goods to reach the destination at a particular date needs the fastest mode of transport. Air transport is considered as fastest and can be adopted when speed is the most important factors among all. Other constraints are frequency, availability of the service, reliability, consistency in delivery, capability, cost, capacity, and many more. The transport decision is always dependent on the transportation strategy. A transportation strategy is not just comparing one carrier with another. It involves looking at the all aspects of business, such as suppliers, consumers, and operations. Some important factors common in global and local transportation strategies are timeliness of shipment, selection of mode, synergy between the carriers, meeting customer needs, and monitoring performance. It involves around three factors such as internal strategies, carrier strategies, and external pressures. The internal strategies are corporate strategies and logistics strategies. And these are interrelated, and the transportation strategies are articulated in compliance to the external pressure from business environment and transportation environment. Also, the internal strategies have influence on the business environment. These two together, in turn, will decide the selection of carrier, that is rail, road, sea, or multimodal. Now we move to Unit 9, that is the documentation in global logistics. Export import documentation is the soul and heart of international business. Why is documentation needed in export import business? The answer lies in the nature of the business relations between the exporter and the importer, who are operating from two countries. That is a business which is related to countries. If one is doing domestic business, one knows or can easily know the commercial practices, which binds the buyer and the seller. Similarly, the possibility of business disputes is reduced since both buyer and sellers know or can easily know laws of the governing contracts. The role of standard documents in the export import processes can be categorized twofold, such as the real shipment of physical goods and The second part is the complementary documentary exchanges. The documentary system developed countries ago through transactions referred to as documentary sales under the classic shipment trade terms FOB, that is free on board, and CIF, that is cost, insurance, and freight. We will be using these terms in the later part of our discussion. Documentary sales have been considered by court of law to be the transactions in documents to the some same extent that they are a transaction in goods. What are the key documents? The number of documents followed by for conducting international business across the globe varies from country to country depending upon the law and practices adopted by each of the countries that create complexity in the conduct of business. In order to streamline smooth conduct of business, the International Chamber of Commerce, Geneva, has taken initiative to group such documents in three categories. Common documents that are to be raised by seller and buyer, documents that are to be raised by exporters only, and the documents that are to raised by importers only. The 10 key documents that are now globally accepted and grouped in the following three categories. First one is common documents, they are two in number. Second one is documents to be raised by exporter, there are six in numbers. And the documents to be raised by importer only, they are two in number. Now, what are those documents? If we talk about common documents, it is export sales contract and purchase contract. As far as document to be raised by the exporter are concerned, it includes commercial invoice, certificate of origin, that is COO, certificate of inspection, certificate of insurance, bill of lading, that is transport document, one of the most important subject, and bill of exchange or draft, that is payment document. And if we talk about the third part, that is document to be raised by importer only, it is letter of credit and letter of import declaration. What are the dimensions of these documents? For enabling the importing party to receive the goods contracted for and the exporting parties to receive the sale worth, as well as to safeguard incentives of export, documentation formalities are made compulsory. It is important to note that all documents relating with export have to abide with commercial, lawful, and entitlement precautions. One of the most important dimensions among the commercial document includes transport documents, that is the heart and soul of the conducting business, be it at national or international level. Documents of transportation, which are prepared under the commercial dimensions, also known by the name shipping documents, and these documents allow the discharge of responsibilities written in contract of export by the exporter and the importer. As per the written document terms, the exporter is abided by the rule of making shipments of the goods as per the prerequisites of the agreement, and while the importer is abided by the terms written for making the payments of the goods purchased. At the time of shipment of the goods by the exporter, he carries certain papers along with these papers entitles either the exporter or its lawful hire. It can be an agent, importer, and the bank to the goods at the terminus in the happening of harm or damage for claiming reimbursement through insurance. For a delivery under CIF agreement, There are certain commercial documents like saleable invoice. Secondly, it is bill of lading, airline bill, post lot receiving, indemnification policy, and the third one is credentials and negotiable bill. In addition to these papers, certain shipments will also impose supplementary saleable forms like the list of packing, inspection certificate, documentation of quality assurance, etc. as required. In the logistics perspective, goods are delivered by different modes of transport depending upon the nature and urgency. That includes by sea and inland water, railways, roadways, airways, pipeways, and ropeways. As such, the nature of documents also differ. If the mode is by sea or land water, it is bill of lading. If it is with railways, it is wagon receipt. And if it is with roadways, it is either road receipt or bill T. And for airways, it is airway bill. So depending upon the mode, the document name changes. Around 90% by volume and 75% by value of the goods movement takes place using sea or inland waterways. For movement of goods in bulk, followed by 1% by air and high value goods such as old items, precious and semi precious jewelry, highly perishable items such as fruits and vegetables, like saving drugs, horticulture, etc. Roadways are the principal mode of transport with land border countries for speedier movement, while connected with the motorable roads reaching in the last mile. Railways are economical and mainly used with sound infrastructure base having rail network. Pipeways are used for delivery of liquid gases with the neighboring markets and ropeways especially in highly trains. Bill of lading, most commonly in practice, is used in movement of goods by sea. Now we will see what bill of lading is. A bill of lading is a receipt for goods shipped on board a vessel, signed by the person who contracts to carry them and stating the condition in which the goods were delivered to the ship. It is not the actual contract, which is inferred from the action of the shipper or ship owner in delivering or receiving the cargo, but forms excellent evidence of the terms of the contract. It is indeed a document stating the title for the goods, which is the main focus of the business deal between the purchaser, that is the importer, and the supplier, the exporter. It is the further most vital saleable paper in global trade deals and is usually used for regulating distribution of goods transported through sea routes. What are the salient points in a bill of lading? The salient points incorporated in a bill of lading are the name of the shipper, which is usually the exporter, the name of the carrying vessel by which mode it will be, a full description of cargo, provided it is not bulk cargo, including any shipping marks, individual package number in the batch, fillings, cubic dimensions, cross heaviness, etc. The mark and number identifying the goods. Fifth one is the port of shipment or dry port or CFS. Sixth one is port of discharge or dry port. Seventh, full detail of the freights, including when and where it has to be paid, whether freight paid, or payable at destination. Name of the consignee, or if the shipper is anxious to withhold the consignee's name and shipper orders. The terms of agreement of deportment and the day and time of receipt of goods for shipment and or the time they are laden on the vessel. Name and address of the notified party. The person to be notified on arrival of the shipment, usually the buyer. Quantity of bills of lading, which is signed either by the master or on his behalf by his or her agent, which provides information about the receiving of the goods, and the signature of ship's master or his agent and time. What is the function of bill of lading? Chiefly, there are four functions of the bill of lading. Broadly, it is a receiving at the time of shipment of the goods, a document enabling transfer of goods, which enables the demand for cargo by one who is holding it. It is a proof for the terms written in the agreement of affreightment, but not the real agreement, and are quasi negotiable too. Once the shipper or his agent becomes aware of the schedules of a particular trade through the medium of sailing cart or some form of advertisement, he or she communicates with the ship owner with a view to booking cargo space in the vessel or container. When acceptable preparations have been done, the cargo is forwarded by the shipper. It is interesting to note that it is the shipper who always initiates the offer through forwarding its shipment, while it is the right of the owner of the ship to either accept the offer or to reject the offer. The details about the consignment are also provided either by the shipper himself or through his agent. This is accomplished with the completion of bill of lading of the shipping company, wherein the shipping company has to sign as how many copies of the forms are requested by the another party. The bill of lading is drafted and is duly signed by either the carrier or on behalf of the carrier, either by the master of the ship or by his agent. And also it is embossed as freight paid or freight payable at destination, as the circumstances are, wherever the goods arrived on the port. The cargo is termed as clean bills of lading with no further endorsement whenever goods arrived are in good condition. The duly completed documents, that is the set of bills of lading, is given back to the exporter party, that is the seller, for quick communication with the importing party, that is the buyer. It is important for the buying party to have negotiable bill of lading for clearing the goods from the port of destination. Bills of lading are drafted in sets, and the numbers assigned varies as per the trade. Usually two or three, one of which is possibly be further directed, and the additional one by a future postal in case of primary postage was misplaced or late, together with the appropriate quantity of non-negotiable copies required for workplace and filing purpose. The reverse of the bill of lading bears the terms and condition of the contract of carriage, where the shipper sold the goods on letter of credit terms established through a bank, or when he or she wishes to obtain payment of his or her invoice before the consignee obtains the goods, he or she will pass the full set of original bills to his or her bank, who will in due course arrange presentation of the consignee against payment. The ship owner or his agent at the port of destination will require one original bill of lading to be presented to him or her before the goods are handed over. When one of the said bills of the lading has been presented to the shipping company, the other bills in the set loses their value. What are the different types of bills of lading? Straight bill of lading, to order bill of lading, shipped bill of lading, received bill. In air carriage, the transport documents is known as airway bill, that is AWB. This document constitutes prima facie evidence of the conclusion of the contract of affreightment of receipts of goods or condition of carriage. Therefore, three functions are performed by this document. It is a forwarding note for the goods, a receiving for the offered goods, and an authority for obtaining delivery of goods. AWB is not a document of title, nor is this document transferable. However, AWB can be made into a transferable document by which it can be transferred to a third party by endorsement. But by and large, the business and commercial practices does not treat AWB as a title of document of title. The purpose of AWB are alike to BL in respect of its features as a proof of contract and as receiving for cargo. AWB can be provided as a receiving when either cargo was given to the carrier pending shipment or when the cargo is laden on panel board of the aircraft. This is known by the name like a clean receiving or a close receiving. Now comes your combined multimodal transport document. For multimodal movement of goods in container, a document known as combined transport document, that is CTD or MMTD, is prepared. The movement of goods is usually done by using more than one mode of transport, that is rail and ship. A CTD offers a substitute for launching a series of distinct and non-uniform agreements for every section of whole convenience process. Under LNC, it is accepted for negotiation. With this, we will be concluding this session.
सर ये फॉर्म हमारा भर दो आपने साइन कर देना फिर निकलो शेड्यूल भेज देता हूँ
अब मैं
नेक्स्ट वन
क्या पढ़वाओगे?
ये हो गया खत्म
छः